Sure now. Right, do we have any declarations of pecuniary interest, please? Nope, silence is gone. Any apologies?
No apologies, sir.
Hey, don't call me sir.
Call him that.
I'll see you off.
Yeah. Right, 8/3/1/23 to confirm the minutes of the allotments committee, which were received by council on the 30th of January as a true record. Are we all happy with that? Yes, Terry, sorry. Okay, yeah. Wonderful. Right, 8/2/3/2/23 allotment officers update. Well,
Okay, so additional awareness signage has been displayed to help combat the lack of dog control that occasionally is witnessed on some of our allotment sites. So they've been placed at the entrances of the sites and around the sites. Necessary repairs have been carried out on standpipes, and the water is now back on, ready for the growing season. Arboricultural work has been carried out at London Road, Mumford Road allotment sites. This work was deemed necessary from the tree survey carried out in October. We have received a report from a tenant for Micknell Way stating rat activity. This has now been monitored by the council's approved pest control contractor. Plot inspections. The issues concerned have been the following: the livestock welfare and the exceedance of agreed kept number of birds, excessive hoarding of materials and exceeding the agreed size of structures, the growing of invasive plants such as bamboo, and the unkept boundary lines and lack of cultivations. This has resulted in 22 letters being sent to the relevant tenants, which has included 2 notices of quits. Allocation and waiting list. Since the last allotment committee meeting in January, 20 applicants have been contacted, and this has resulted in 10 applicants accepting the offer. The allotment waiting list now stands at 32. The number of vacant plots stand at 22 and are located at the following sites: Mumford Road, 14 plots, Berry Road, 6 plots, London Road, 1 plot, Icknell Way, 1 plot. Number of plots that have been officially offered on the Mumford Road site and pending allocation stands at 4. I have an update on that. Due to the necessary tree work, it has hampered the efficiency of allocating some of the plots on Mumford Road. While I was waiting for the tree surgeon to carry out their works, the plots were being cleared in readiness, but we was unable to allocate them until this week. So the update is I've contacted during this week, a further 7 waiting list applicants. That's resulted in meeting 5 people this week, and I believe 2 of those people have actually paid and gone forward with it. So I apologise for that number being quite high on Mumford Road, but that was one of the reasons for that being held up. I've also handed these out, the colourful little things, and that gives you a little bit of an insight what's been going on. It's not the whole story, but it gives you a little bit of an insight there.
excuse me, Cole, do you have any of these?
It's for the committee.
Just for the committee. I'll let you have one for you now, okay? Sorry, Cole, carry on.
That's okay. There's a graph. Highlighting the vacant plots, offered plots and allocated plots, and that's back from July 23 all the way through to present day. The following graph shows changes in plots from 1 month to the next and gives an indication of how many plots are offered to a tenant, and on the waiting list how many plots are offered and are taken up by the tenant. The number of vacant plots in October and November peak because this is when the allotment year ends, when the notices to quit take effect, and when people decide not to renew their allotment plot. There has been a significant improvement in turnaround time and has been achieved by ensuring that the allotment officer is responsible for managing the task. Previously, the allotment officer would be relying on someone in the office liaising with prospective tenants, and it would be some time before there was confirmation of the take-up by that tenant. Exploring the cost of allotment plot clearances. We are very conscious of the limited manpower. We've invited 2 companies to submit quotes for clearances of 4 plots on the Mumford Road site. This specified removing all forms of rubbish, structures, vegetation, and finally rotating the plot. Quotation 1, which also included work on a 5th plot, and it's £7,452. Quotation 2 was £8,299. These are significant costs which will take a significant period of time to recover through allotment fees, currently 25 years at the current half plot fee. New legal requirement on poultry. As part of the efforts to tackle outbreak of avian flu, the government has introduced a new legal registration requirement for all bird keepers in the UK. Thetford has announced that all bird keepers must register their birds under the new measures to help prevent bird flu, regardless of the number of birds they keep. Owners will need to provide the following information, which must be updated annually. Contact details, location where the birds are kept, species of kept bird, the number of birds kept, and the reason for keeping them. By registering these birds, keepers will ensure they receive important updates relevant to them, such as any local avian disease outbreaks and biosecurity rules to help protect their birds. In England, keepers are encouraged to register their birds ahead of the legal deadline, the 1st of October 2024. Further information on registration of birds can be found on gov.uk. Notices will need to be erected on all sites to communicate these changes. We may also ask site representatives and associations to assist in information on new requirements. Site maintenance plans. Set out below is a proposed site maintenance plan to be carried out over a 3-year period. Mumford Road allotment site. To improve the existing trackway that leads from the old Broxton Road entrance to Station Lane entrance with a sealed surface to keep the water out and to provide a more reliable surface for future maintenance. To incorporate a new sealed track leading from the entrance of the lower Station Lane, which will run along the boundary fence line for approximately 100 metres. This will vastly improve the area that can sometimes become very waterlogged. London Road allotment site. To improve the existing trackway and incorporate its designated car park area at the main entrance and a deeper hammerhead turning area at the other end of the track. The lower end of the track tends to become very waterlogged. Bury Road allotment site. To improve the main track, which at present is laid to grass, which becomes muddy and tends to form deep ruts. To improve the vehicle access at the gate entrances along the track that leads from Mill Lane to St Michael's Close. Estimated costs. 2 quotations have been obtained, and to do the roadworks at the Mumford Road allotment site, these are to £41,495 and £24,876, which are significant costs. Officers will need to relook at priorities and timing. Officer's recommendation. The officer's recommendation is that the committee is requested to discuss and note the report.
Thank you, Carl.
You'll fall asleep.
No, you're really good. Yeah, thank you for your efforts and time and all that. Peter.
One slight question, please, regarding the dog keep on the lead. Could they be put on the outside of the gates, rather than the inside of the gates? Because we're still getting people that say they haven't seen them.
Well, I didn't put them on the outside, so I didn't want them to be defigured and additional artwork apply. but I think you probably need probably a Breckman type sign, threatening a penalty, because that is used by the public dog walker.
Yeah.
And it's like a minefield in those 2 days.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have a word with our works manager, and I think we can probably get some from Breckland,
Right.
and put on the outside as well.
And at the top gate as well. know-
Yeah, I will do. Yeah.
It's just that one of our members has come to me and said they've seen dog paws on their plot. And if the dog is kept on a lead, that can't happen.
Yeah, so I've cited them all on the main gates.
Yes.
There's a sign on all the main gates. The only thing we do is probably emphasise a bit more in our rules.
Yes.
That's as far as we can go, unless we actually catch anybody in the act of not controlling their dog. Yeah.
I think most people are sympathetic to the suggestion, but there are some people that aren't.
On that, I have about 10 to 12 Breckland dog fouling notices, which I'll
Okay.
log.
Yeah, brilliant.
I'll bring you some down.
Yeah.
I'll bring them to you, yeah?
Okay, yeah.
I'll give you a couple for the gates. Okay, any more questions, Terry?
Yeah, Alan, can you put the bar chart back on there with the green line? That one. So the green line, Carl, is vacant plot numbers.
Yeah.
So with what you've just said about Mumford Road and, you know, literally this week, there's been some allocations.
Yeah.
That will take that 22 figure down lower than 20. So that's the fewest number of vacant plots that we've had.
I can't guarantee that it's taken below 20 because we can only say that it's been allocated when they finally pay.
Right.
We give them 7 working days to set the offer.
Yeah.
So we have to allow them that period of time for them to finalise it.
Okay.
So I know for a fact that we've had 2, so that comes down to 20. But with the possibility, they all seem, well, they always do seem very keen, to a further 5 more.
Okay, good. Because I mean, I look back to September and October, November last year when it was, you know, 22, 28, 31, which was, you know, too high. It has been going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Hopefully with those recent changes, it will go below the 22 that's currently there at the moment.
I mean, it will fluctuate all the time because, I mean, you could get someone today give up their plot, you know, so it does go up all the time. But hopefully in the right direction.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I was looking at. I always look for sort of trends.
Yeah.
I was surprised with the number of people contacted and then the number of people taking up the plots.
Yeah.
And that says to me, perhaps the database of people on the waiting list is probably not up to date. I would imagine there's people that have been on there for quite a while. And I wondered if we could do an exercise where we contact people to see if they're still interested and if they're interested in specific plots only, because I know there are people that are on there that only want a certain location, not a generic allotment anywhere.
We have carried out that exercise.
Okay.
We contacted applicants for Madeline Street.
Yeah.
A few people just wanted to stay on the list and was willing to wait it out.
Right.
A few of them wanted to have a look, and some of them have actually come forward. And I think one has changed his mind altogether.
Okay.
So,
I think it's important for us as a committee that we have an accurate idea of how many people are waiting. I mean, that's the lowest number that I've seen for a long while waiting for an allotment, which is good.
Mhm.
But in terms of us wanting to create, you know, additional allotment plots or whatever, we need to have an accurate figure. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's been done. The plots that are still vacant, I was looking at the list here and I was trying to work out which ones are vacant. An awful lot of them seem to be sort of clearance and structures being taken down, that sort of thing. And we have discussed this before. I think we should be allocating some of them to people for them to do the work. I mean, those costs are ridiculous in terms of a lot of that will be labour, but a lot of it will be disposal costs as well, I should think, half and half probably. But I think we should be allocating at least 10 of these for free for a year for people to take on as is. And I think that will, you know, I don't want to be committing £7,000-8,000 of town council money, which we don't have budgeted, by the way. But I do want to get these vacant plots used.
Peter?
Do we have any thing in operation where you offer somebody a plot and if they turn it down 3 times, then they're off the list completely?
They turned it out once, they're off the list.
Sorry,
If they turn it down once, they're off the list.
they're off the right.
I don't think we put them on the bottom of the list. If they want to wait for another chance of allotment or choice,
Right.
they have to go to the bottom of the list.
Right.
That's how we normally do it, yeah. But on 3 occasions, they just have to keep going to the bottom. They'll never get an allotment, will they?
That's true.
John?
That's basically what my question was.
Okay. Sorry?
Would we have the option of allowing people to wait for the allotment that is closest to them? Because, the point of allotments, green spaces, it's an environmental exercise. Wouldn't it be good if we could, at the moment we're encouraging people to take whatever plot comes up. Aren't we allowing them to take the plot that's nearest to them so they don't gain a disadvantage from turning down a plot that's halfway across town?
Well, if the applicant has put on their application form that they're any site,
Okay.
I would look, if there's availability of a site nearest to them, I would obviously offer them that choice.
Okay, all right. There's a couple of other questions regarding what Terry was saying. Those costs for clearing allotments seem exorbitant. As long as we can't identify any hazardous materials, then I would echo Terry's comments about getting people to do it, saving us a lot of money and getting people on allotments. Seems to be a winner.
But I do feel that those estimates do highlight the amount of effort and amount of work which is required to turn an allotment round to the required standard. There's an awful lot of rubbish which we take off. Well, I take off. So that does emphasise, by the cost, and they're using mechanical means. I'm using third world.
Yeah.
It's, that does highlight that.
Yeah. Peter?
I'd like to back Carl up on that. We were offered at Berry Road full autonomy to take over all responsibilities for the allotment site. And as an exercise, when plot 21 came up, I cleared it myself in 4 days. And that's without taking the stuff away. So what Carl is saying is, yes, it takes a long time to clear a plot.
Okay. John?
Yeah, I back that up. I mean, because obviously I see Carl a lot of the times up on there's some structures on there which would be unsafe for another person to take on, and where would they then get rid of that rubbish? And you don't maybe in the ground, but you find lots of glass and all that sort of stuff in the ground is very, and for some people to take it on could be quite dangerous in some ways.
I mean, I'll agree. No, sorry, you're not allowed to speak during that.
Okay, fair enough.
Sorry, it's not my fault, it's the rules. I think what we'll do is under section 83623, matters to discuss at the next informal allotment meeting. I think we'll bring that one forward.
No, I'm sorry, I'm going to make a proposal because
wait a minute.
it's been dragging on forever. I think if we've got 20 plots that are available, I'm happy for the officers to go away and find 5 plots that we make available for free for the next year, and offer those 5 sold as seen essentially to people on the allotment waiting list.
Yes. Seconder, can I just, Peter and John, would you be happy?
Yes, in fact, our rep did.
Yeah, and Carl can choose which 5. I completely get the point about hazardous materials and all the rest of it. There must be 5 on here that, a bit of work they can get done.
Ron? What do you think?
Yeah, I echo that as well.
Okay, then.
Very keen to see these plots.
It's been proposed and seconded. We put it to a vote.
Yeah.
Want to read it out?
Well,
Are we allowed to do this?
it's not an action item to vote, so we'll note that that's what the committee's proposed, and that's all we can do. So there wouldn't be a formal vote because it's not on the agenda to take a vote. But it's a decision that we will ratify when the minutes go through as well.
Does this go to full council now? Or will this be the next allotments meeting?
We can put in the next, we'll report back and then ask the council to, the committee to review that. And
Because that's quite a long while away yet, isn't it?
oh, we'll do it.
Okay.
I think the difference is we're not going to sit back and wait for a formal proposal to come through. We will actually do it.
Yeah.
You've given us basically an intent, a decision of intent. It's like we did with raised beds at the last meeting. We formalise it now, but we've actually done all the work regarding that. So we will ensure that that's done.
Yeah, my concern is now is the time of year it's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Allotment site representative report, Peter, John? Do you want to go? Anything?
The only thing is the one that I passed on to Alan, which is what we've just discussed from Kate. The other issue was the dogs roaming on and the additional signs. And I think nobody else had brought anything to my attention.
John?
The only things that's been brought to my attention, actually last weekend, Alan actually down there to court them. There was two girls on the plot which were actually climbed on top of our hut. He sort of chased them off, but it would seem that we don't know whether they were children of, I mean, they were teenage girls, but they don't know whether they were part of an allotment holder's family or what, or whether they'd come over the fence or what, we don't know, because obviously it's not appropriate to be following people, because you never know what might come back from that. Also, we've had a couple of occasions, we had 3 occasions this year so far, though on one occasion the lock was returned over the Easter period, but we've had 3 locks go missing. Now, again, that's got to be from an allotment holder, one would assume. So I don't know whether it's worth putting a note out sometimes for allotment holders to, as a reminder, A, of making sure they scramble the numbers, and B, make sure that they don't take the locks away with them. I mean, it can quite, you have somebody come up behind you, you sort of drive off and then suddenly realise you've got the lock in your car, rather than you've hung it on the gate for the next person to come in. But
I would wonder why you would put the lock in your car. That puzzles me a bit, to be fair. Why would you do that? I mean, I was up London Road yesterday. Travel, open the gate, drive in, park up, go back, lock the gate up again. Why would you put the lock in your car?
I don't know. I'm just do you like to think of it, trying to get some prizes to hang up on their wall of the amount of locks they've got.
Okay.
I think the other thing is, which I think came up, and I think that was mentioned to Carl, I think the thing, I've probably got security on here in any case, is the case of CCTV again has raised its head. Especially, I don't know whether we've actually had any reports back from the police about the vandalism.
I haven't seen anything. Have you?
No.
We will ask.
I find it strange.
Make a note and find
Actually,
it.
anybody who's actually reported it, you would think that the police could come back to them and tell you what the outcome was.
You would think.
You would think.
Yeah, we'll try, because we had Les McGuire up there, didn't we? And he told us he would feedback. Okay. Right.
Why are you looking at me?
I'm sorry, it's making me up. I wasn't reading. Okay then, thank you very much. 83423, feedback on the informal meeting we had on the 9th of February with the allotment holders. We'll start with Peter, as you were there. Anything interesting came up?
People keep asking me if the council have banned bonfires yet or not.
No decision is made.
That's what I kept on.
I really didn't, sorry. Okay,
That's the only thing.
John?
Not a massive gain yet. I mean, I did actually have a word with an allotment holder regarding the bonfires, because one day when I didn't go up there in the morning, there somebody had a really big bonfire which did actually go across the road, across to the playing field wherever they were playing football. So I did have a word with that particular holder to say, listen, on A, you shouldn't be bringing stuff up from home to burn, and B, be a bit more considerate to other people. I mean, obviously, yes, Carl has to have this bonfires at all time, but once you get a bit of heat underneath it, normally, but this was all green stuff, and that was causing lots of problems. Other than that, I think the meeting went quite well. Not heard any more, although I don't want to actually bring the subject up, but you did say that there was going to be a meeting to do with bees, so. But, that hasn't happened yet, so I don't know whether it's been swept under the carpet with a bit of luck.
No, it hasn't been swept under carpet. We will have a word regarding the bee issue until we can speak to the experts, because I'm not an expert on bees. I really don't know. You know, we can't have my honest opinion. Have you got any comments first, Terry, on the informal meeting?
No.
No.
As in keeping bees on their allotment.
But people do have bees on the allotment. There are two sites, one on the Mumford Road, one on the London Road, and there's a special site with them. So the lady wanted to.
I think keeping bees, you know, can be classified as a good thing.
Absolutely.
The presentation we got wasn't the best.
No, that's for sure.
I was left unclear about what exactly it was that the person who made that presentation actually wanted.
That's good. Well,
I'm still not clear about that.
unfortunately for you, you would be part of the meeting when we meet with Kate, etc., discuss the bee policy. So you can ask all these questions.
Volunteered.
Can I just make a point? What Kate was saying, I believe, is that there is one rule for Berry Road.
Yeah.
And one rule for the other side. Was it Mumford Road?
Mumford Road, yeah.
Yeah, which there has to be. You know, you can't have sites will be, as we've already talked about with reference to representative sites are different. Aren't they?
Yeah. Okay, I think we'll have to take that forward, Peter, until the time comes till we have the meeting.
Yeah.
For my own personal opinion, which might not be relevant at all, I really enjoy the informal meetings. I really do. I think it's great. We've brought these in and we talk to allotment holders can speak freely. They can say what they want. We can sit at the end. It's not officious. It's not, there's no motions going through. And it's really great to get the allotment holders in. There were several allotment holders at the last meeting. And we
Good 25 or so, wasn't it?
I think it's more like 40.
It was 40.
Now, on the clarification on that, do you need to be an allotment holder to be there, or do you represent an allotment holder?
You always get one, don't it?
I think it's a good question.
There was somebody who asked a lot of questions and made lots of statements at the meeting who didn't actually have an allotment. However, it was another person within the family had the allotment.
We know exactly who you're talking about,
Yeah.
that's fine. Through some of our other agenda items, we possibly address that particular issue.
Okay, I mean, there were the clues in the title informal, but I would agree that it would be best if there was allotment holders.
It says allotment holders.
Yeah, it does, yeah. So I mean, I would think that it should be, but we can't be, if someone's ill and they can't make it and they're going to send their, it's their comment, as long as they let us know. I think that's the question, if they let us know.
Okay,
Saying
thank you.
we are representing so and so and so and so. Yeah. But I really do enjoy the informal meetings, and we're going to have another one in early June, but we'll talk about that a bit later on. Okay. Anything else?
A good thing going forward.
Me too. Right, nothing else on that one? Okay. 83523, amendment to the rules on the use of raised beds. To review and amend a rule effectively prohibiting the use of raised beds, including the bringing in of soil onto an allotment site that will occur if raised beds are used. To decide whether or not what rules to change which will permit the use of raised beds at allotment sites. It says that Town Clerk here.
In terms of this particular item, at the January meeting, there was a statement of intent that was made that we would actually permit them because there wasn't sufficient time to put it on the agenda. And all this does is actually just specifies the exact rule that we're changing. So you'll see, in order to give it the effect of what that resolution was. Now, I used the word resolution in inverted commas at the January meeting. It's just to give legal effect. We'll change Rule 8.9 and we'll introduce rule 713. 713 bans the bringing in of soil, and we'll just, no, I'm confusing myself, but we've set it out in terms of the rules, and if this resolution is passed, we'll then amend the rule book, and it'll reflect the situation that a tenant can have raised beds in accordance with what was decided at the January 2024 meeting.
Any thoughts?
Well, I proposed that it's,
John, sorry.
I did, my only concern, I know it's mentioned here, is the fact is that there are disabled people who use the raised beds, and yeah, I agree with, you're not supposed to be bringing soil onto plots because you don't know whether it's contaminated or anything, but as long as that's made clear that people with certain things, and what is a raised bed? Is it that high? Is it a boundary?
We've interpreted it to be wheelchair height.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the way forward to have raised beds. I mean, we're all getting on a tad, aren't we? So to have that easy access is really good. So do we need a proposal in a second?
Yes, please.
Can I have a proposal from the floor?
Should the rules not stipulate a maximum height?
and a minimum height.
Minimum.
Yeah, so a raised bed above such a height, which will allow other people to put in small raised beds, but also a maximum height. Because the issue, of course, is when people leave the block, you know, we were talking about clearance costs.
But it was decided at the last meeting that the tenant may require to return the allotments plot state upon relinquishment or termination.
Okay,
I think it's very important.
so what's a good safe? What's a good height? 3 foot?
What's the height of 2 sleepers? What would you use? You'd use sleepers or something, wouldn't you?
Well, you can get clip-on things that you people use, can make raised beds from clip-on stuff,
Yeah.
you can make them from wood, etc., etc. You know, depending, plastic ones, you can get all sorts. So I mean, the height, like 3 foot, only working feet and inches. On
I'll say
3 foot.
out there. That's, what's that, a metre and a half?
That's from the ground or from the top of the table. That's quite high.
I would say that table would be
Is it, would it be down there then?
about the table.
Metre.
Table height, about a metre.
Yeah, yeah, and the minimum, what, 6 inches?
3 foot.
No, you're a bit more than that, sleeping's bigger than that.
Foot then? I mean, just, okay, can we have, you're going to propose that?
Yeah, I propose that the
Okay,
that the height for this exemption be between a foot, no, I can't say a foot, but
300 mil.
30 centimetres and a metre.
seconder, please. Mr. Gray. All in favour?
Yep.
Okay, unanimous. Thank you. Right, matters to discuss at the next informal allotment meeting. Number 1, increase in monetary deposits where allotment holders have excessive structures and stored items. We've already heard this morning about some of the issues on clearing the plots. On my travels yesterday, came across a couple of plots, I won't say where, which when the person gives it up is going to be horrendous to clear. And the small amount of money paid they can just walk away. And it wouldn't cost them as much as it would to do that. Okay, but that's something we're going to take forward to discuss at the informal allotment meeting to see what they want to do, because it affects yours as well. But my opinion, I mean, we can't, I don't know, we'll discuss that with you. And number 2, putting restrictions on tenanting more than one allotment plot to reduce the waiting list.
What does that actually mean? So, I mean, Carl obviously allocates half a plot at the moment to anybody. So are we saying then that people have got more than one plot at this moment in time, but they've got to give?
It's something to think about, because one of the challenges we have
A
is
lot of people have had these allotments for a long time. And okay, there might be the odd occasion when something within their life stops them from doing work on them. However, once things change, that's recovered. And they were also given out at a time when not many people wanted allotments. So it would be very difficult to suddenly go right up to somebody and say, all right, get off there, you can only have one plot or only half a plot.
Especially if it's been planted up.
Yeah,
I mean, I personally speaking, this is something to look into the future. I would never, ever advocate taking someone's plot off them. Never, ever. It's not going to happen under my life, my tenure, okay? Because it's not right. People have worked hard on their allotments. If the allotment's not been used and they're prepared to put the work in, I have no issues whatsoever. In the future, if something happens and the allotment holder moves on, then the two plots become free.
oh, absolutely.
Then we can look at it in the future. If an allotment holder has two plots and is not working them both properly, and they're not being looked after properly, and that's a slightly different issue, isn't it? You know, then we have to monitor and make sure they're being looked after. But as far as my owner, Carl, might agree that most things I've seen, the people with more than one plot, their plots are really good. I have no objection whatsoever, and they've worked hard on them to keep them up to standard. Would you all agree with that? Yeah?
Just as a matter of interest, how many plots or half plots are empty compared with the waiting list?
Isn't it on your list?
On that piece, the paper you got there. The ones which are not marked by A and B, they're obviously a full plot.
Yep.
And when they're cleared, and if it's works out okay, we can halve those.
Okay, yes.
We've got eight.
Sorry.
So we've got eight empty half plots on Bury Road.
That's what it says. You've got so BU2, that would be halved.
Yep.
BU15 would be halved. Yeah, so that's 4.
5, 6, 7, 8
Yeah.
half plots.
Yeah, the number of
So if we clear all of those plots that are empty into two halves, how many of them plots would you need for your waiting list to clear?
well, the waiting is daily.
Yes, I realise that, but
Yeah.
you only got
I mean,
30 on the waiting list. 8 will go on Bury Road. You've got no end there on Barnford Road and London Road.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there's not immediate demand to take people's plots off them.
Excuse me, Pete, what we'll do, we'll talk about that at the informal allotment meeting, that's okay. Yeah, because that's where we discuss that, not here as such, no. Okay, we're all in favour of those things. I'd like to put on, oh, sorry.
The bit that I'm most concerned about and have been for a while is this deposits business, because the £50 deposit, as Carl's figures earlier for clearance work show, is nowhere near sufficient. So I'm pleased that we're going to be asking about that. Would the intention be to make any changes? Is it October when we get the renewals of the tenancies? So presumably that before that happened would be the time to amend the deposit, if that's what we wanted to do.
If I can respond, our thinking was if normally we'd give people the opportunity to clear their plots before that kicked in. If they didn't take that opportunity, then we'd give them to October the 10th. That's the date that the allotment fee expires.
We'll be looking to make the change at some point, in the autumn, ready to coincide with other dates. Okay, as long as I know what the plan is, because I think that's been long overdue being reformed.
Yeah, also, while they're talking about something else to put on here, which has only come up, is security again. It appears there's been an attempted break-in on the Bury Road, allegedly.
London Road.
Oh, London Road, I thought it said Bury Road here. Okay then,
Oh. But which item were we on now, Chris?
well, this comes under things to discuss at informal
Oh,
meeting.
okay.
Okay. I'm really sorry. It says, oh, BR again. Oh, British. I thought BR was very well. BR. Okay, so ignore that.
Our predecessor was the same.
Yeah. So what we'll do, we'll put security back on the list.
It's on that, sorry, it's on that point. I think that it's the lady who reported that to Carl. Which was from the break-ins, which were from last year.
Oh, blimey.
That was the first time they've been up the allotment since then.
I don't believe.
Huh?
I don't think it's a recent break-in. But
Okay.
She was to know what steps were taken to improve security.
Okay, well, we'll still talk about that at the informal meeting because it's important. Okay.
We're trying to get a proposer and second.
Okay, can I have a proposal for what we're going to discuss at the informal meeting, please? Terry, seconder? Terry? All in favour? Yep. Okay, thank you. Right, 83723.
Oh, I've got my hand up.
Sorry.
Sorry?
No, carry on, sorry.
Regarding the formal meetings, I think they're a really good thing to gauge opinion from allotment holders. What concerns me is that I think these should be advisory only. I can't think of an instance where this could possibly occur or has occurred immediately. But if we invite allotment holders to have a vote on something, that assumes a mandate. When it may well be that the council want to do something else, which is what we're here for now. So I'm not terribly keen on the idea of having votes in those meetings, because all it does is gives allotment holders an idea that that will be carried through when it won't necessarily.
I don't know about that one. I'm not so sure. I think most. I know what you're
Allotment
saying.
holders rent
Yeah.
their allotment plots off the council. The council make decisions, allotment holders don't. That's why we've got two reps here to put their case. I don't think we should be having votes at informal meetings.
Okay,
It gives a false feeling of agency.
right. I realise I'm in the minority here. I think the vote we had was just to gauge the opinion. It wasn't a binding vote.
We knew what the opinion was without having a
You
vote.
know, and as you well know, I'm all for openness and transparency and asking people's opinions.
We have a right to manage, Chris.
But I mean, I'll take that under abeyance and let you know. Okay. Right. Thank you. Right, the next one, 83723, a committee inspection of the London Road allotment site. To agree and discuss the need to undertake a committee and officers inspection of the London Road allotment site, which has not been fully utilised by all tenants. To confirm the timing and scope of the committee inspection, and if the need to do so is agreed. I don't quite sure, you want to go with that one, Carl, or?
No, I think we've got major problems at London Road. And I mean, some of the committee have had engagements with some of the issues, so you're very much aware of it. And it's really been lingering on. And the actual state of the site is it's deteriorated. You know, there's a lot of non-cultivation, there's a lot of hoarding. I mean, in some of the sites, I think they've got more timber than the Forestry Commission has, because they've just been bringing it on and storing it there. And it really has, and I think what it needs, I don't think it's beyond the ability and the capacity of Carl to address it. It actually just needs a blitz. We start at plot number 1 and we actually do an inspection down and everyone sees it being done. So it's done in a transparent way and we get to the bottom of what the issues are. The other thing we've got is that I think there's been abandoned plots and other people have just assumed them. So we've got that issue as well. So the allotment fees have been paid, but they're not necessarily being paid by the person who actually has the allotment, because we don't know if someone pays it through the website or just phones in with a credit card. We don't check the details. We just accept the payment, credit it to their account, and go through. But there is actually a need to resolve this, and because we're not resolving the key issues, it's one of those New York police strategies. If you don't address the basics, other issues happen. The friction and the animosity between some of the tenants will just continue. So I think it's really just one of the ways, we've spent a little bit of time. I've had meetings with the chair on this. We have to do something. We just can't turn a blind eye to it, put our heads in, bury our heads and hope that it's going to go away. And just getting the site into a better state will be one of those ways to do it.
Yeah. Yes, sorry.
What we're talking about is the enforcement of the rules, which have already been adopted. So I don't understand why we need additional committee involvement. Everything on this list should be happening anyway, as far as I'm concerned. I appreciate officers' desire to bring councillors into it to a greater extent for support, but you have our support anyway. We adopt the rules, we adopt the tenancy agreements. If the people aren't obeying the rules, get on with it and sort it out, frankly, as far as I'm concerned. But, I'm pleased that we're addressing it. We absolutely should be addressing it. But I don't understand why we even need to be debating it or having a separate agenda item. The rules are the rules.
We did make a decision earlier on in the year or last year that we would go round with the committee and inspect all the allotment sites. We said we'd do 3 in the year to do all the allotment sites,
It's-
which is what
it's
we used to do before, you know. So, yeah, go on.
I'm not sure it's our job to enforce these.
No.
I'm really not.
I mean, this is nothing new. We've done it for ages and ages, gone round, visited the sites.
Yeah, but it's not our job to enforce.
Can I mean, I'm very happy for the officers to do it, but I think there will be a kickback. And it's to make this committee aware that that's why there will be a kickback. You know, I'm sure that we'll get, you know, official complaints made against us. And it's to understand the context of which that happens. And I think it's really, so I'm quite happy to, you know, we've got to go lead the charge, and I understand that. But I just want the committee to be aware that there will be ramifications to us as officers for doing it, not physical or anything like that. The ramifications will be, there'll be complaints lodged against us, against discrimination, against all sorts of things. Just addressing one matter. I've already had a delegation come in and tell me I'm breaching, you know, I'm just, you know, being discriminatory because I've said something to someone, banned them of having a bonfire, you know, and they want to take me to the Human Rights Commission because apparently I've taken away some of their rights. But that's just, you know, that's the challenge that we have as officers.
I think the point here is a focus on the rules and stressing that there are rules and they need to be adhered.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't disagree. I mean, I will go with the officers because that's what I do. I mean, this particular site, I've been accused of being a racist by the people on the site, which is really weird, you know, and, but still we have to sort it out. And there are some sites on there which cost an awful lot of money to clear. So we have to look into.
I think I would just emphasise to the officers that are here, from my point of view as a committee member, so long as we can evidence that we are fairly enforcing the rules, they're absolutely full support, you know, and if people are giving you grief, I'm sure there must be a clause in there about treating officers fairly. I would blooming well terminate their tenancy agreement and throw them off, because we are here to be fair and adherence to the rules. And if people aren't doing that, I don't care how long they've had an allotment,
Well,
get off.
right. I mean, allotments are a privilege, not a right.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll do that. And please let me know when they go. If you can inform the other committee members as well, though. Okay?
Could you let me know when you're going to visit as well,
Well,
please?
you are on the committee, Rob.
Yeah,
If you're a
thank
committee
you.
member, you'll be told.
We'll likely do it on a Saturday and
Yeah,
2
sure.
Saturdays, because that's the easiest way to do it. More people on the site, and they'll actually witness what we're doing.
Would Peter and John like to be involved, or do you want to stay out of it?
I think, well, I mean, obviously, if you were to come up to Monkford Road on a Saturday, I'm more than happy to come walk around, because I mean, I walk around the site a lot as it is in any case, so I'll be, but not necessarily going on to the other side.
Fair enough. Yeah. Peter,
If you'd like me there, then I'd quite willingly.
I think your calming influence and calm demeanour would be beneficial. How did that sound? I've been practicing that all week. Okay, right, 83823, projects and maintenance work. Not too much, so. What you doing?
We've actually dealt with this, we've dealt with this in the office reports, so I do apologise.
Right, 83923, health and safety matters. I have none at the minute. Anyone else? Apart from the dog, which I'll give you the signs for the dog.
Thank you.
Anything else? No. Any correspondence?
Just the.
Sorry. What, did you finish?
Yeah,
Can I make a suggestion under correspondence? I'm really conscious of the point made earlier about Mumford Road. Can we write to every allotment holder on Mumford Road and give them an update about the situation in relation to the train station and all the rest of it? I appreciate it's no news, but I do think actually we should be confirming it's no news and just outlining the current position. I think in the interest of openness and transparency and fairness, we should do that, because it has been a long while.
Okay, and we could get John to do it as well, being the Mumford Road rep.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, we could write. I have no objection to write.
yeah, I think a letter from the council to we have an agreement with those people, and I think we should treat them fairly.
I'd agree with that, Charlie. Transparency and openness again. Definitely. Right, action plans?
I think in terms of action plans, there's 2 elements to it. The first one is that there's a work program that we've committed to. we've actually have made some progress. The last meeting, I was very embarrassed because we'd hardly made any progress. The first one, formalising the roles and responsibilities of allotment holders on the work programme. We have to have the allotment holders, the representatives in place at the moment. There's a few representatives. On the election of representatives, we started the process. We're doing it at 3 sites at the moment. So nomination forms have gone out. We've had 2 responses from Eckdorf Way, 1 from London Road and 1 from Magdalen Street. Once the closing date happens, we will then, if there's more than 1 nomination, we will then send out, we will go and ask people to vote. If it's small sites like Magdalen Street and Eckdorf Way, you can actually contact the people directly and get a vote of them. The revision of the rules is scheduled for September 24. We missed that, so it has to be September 25. It has to go out with the new allotment letter, so we'll do that at the next meeting. And we've had some changes now. And then lastly, the other work, there actually is some green in here for a change. So those items are there and they'll fall off the work program going forward. The second part of the action plans is the actual minutes, and I like to think that everything is done.
I haven't got a key.
Cole told me he'd given you a
He
key.
has not.
What for?
Pick me all night.
You have to get one from the office and sign it out.
I'm going down there today, so.
Okay. And then just on 57023, the third action point, we were asked at the last meeting to say all the plots that were available for tenanting in July 2023, they have been tenanted. There's not one, except for the red ones, which obviously that's where we need the tree works done and the removal of stumps. All of those have been done, and Carl again has looked me in the eye and sworn on everything that he has that's been done.
Do we need to do anything on Ramsey Close?
Ramsey Close has now moved into amenities committee.
Yeah, because of legal stuff, so we'll update the people as that goes on. Any questions? No. Right. 84223, community engagement. Sorry.
Yeah, it's sort of follow on from what Terry was saying about the Montford Road. Given the concerns we've got around clearing sites, I'm assuming that the site, the allotment rules and regs go out with each demand at the beginning of the year. So that one's already gone out, I'm guessing. Yeah. Because I think we need to make mention of this and what problem it is and how much money it's costing. And in the end, who's going to pay that?
We can do it.
Yep.
It's going to be the allotment holders.
Yeah.
So I think it's in our own interest to keep sites clean.
Yeah, we entirely. Yes, Peter.
Is there any way that you can alter the rules to say that if a site is left, unless there are extenuating circumstances and it's costing more than the deposit, then you will be, as an ex-tenant, you will be reliable for the cost of clearing?
It actually does state that.
Yeah, it does say we can't do that.
The problem is we have no
engagement. That's
if it's been abandoned.
I was just going on from what.
Yeah. It does state that, but the legal cost of trying to recover that amount of money we have to assess what it is, and it's quite difficult because we don't have, if you have to say, well, how much did it really cost you? It's preventative is better than and that's really what we like. So, but if someone had left asbestos, for example, we could look at that because you're talking thousands of pounds. So to spend an £80, charge credit collection would not be significant. But it is very difficult. So
it goes back to what Terry said earlier, didn't it, about enforcing the rules?
Very much so.
And raising deposits.
Stuff like this. So that's all linked in together. Okay, then. Committee officers update?
There's nothing.
There's nothing. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good attendance. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a lot. Thank you. The meeting is now closed. Yeah. Switch off.
Great.
Okay.